Welcome to Grand Warlord Fblthp. Hope you're excited to be a soldier today because we're calling on you. As far as our opening hand goes, yes, we're going to keep on this one. I like it. We've got 4 lands. We've got Tezzeret, and we've got one with Machine. So this is a we'll put one with Machine and Tezzeret next to each other. And then hopefully we can cash in a very nice one with Machine with that Thran Dynamo. And that will transition us into the late game to get some really nice card advantage. But yes, we're playing against Geist today and Grand Warlord Fblthp. It's always kind of fun to get this deck sleeved up and playing. So I'll kind of talk about what we've got going on here in a second. I guess at this point, since it doesn't really matter, we're just going to lead off with Island and then pass the turn over to our opponent. We're playing Fblthp, the Lost. Whenever Fblthp enters the battlefield, draw a card. If it entered the battlefield from your library or was cast from your library, draw 2 cards instead. Then whenever Fblthp becomes the target of a spell, shuffle Fblthp into its owner's library. Playing against Geist of St. Traft, hexproof, and then we'll do that in just a second. But yeah, let's just go ahead and cash in some card draw. Ooh, we do hit Jace. No, I think Jace would be just, yeah, I mean, like, most of the time we're going Fblthp, but just the fact that we just happen to hit Jace, we're going to go for that loot ability, and the next turn we'll go for Fblthp. So, anything else, pass it to our opponent. Playing against Geist. Whenever Geist attacks, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying that's tapped and attacking. Exile that token at the beginning. At the end of combat. There we go. And this is also a Good Morning Vietnam video, so I'm trying to get my voice warmed up and get my brain warmed up too. And so I thought a good way to get my brain warmed up is to play a chaotic artifact deck with Fblthp at the helm. So hope you're excited for some goofy magic today. We did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you're enjoying your time serving in the Fblthp army, serving under Fblthp, hey, head over to MTGOTraders. We've got a lot of nice amenities set up for you to enjoy your stay here at the Army, because Fblthp and I greatly appreciate your service. Let's see what we draw into for the turn. That's going to be Mox Opal, which we need to have 3 or more artifacts, which isn't that bad, because we Darksteel Citadel, and then once we get down Thran Dynamo, we'll be good to go. So let's go for a Jace activation. Draw a card, then discard a card. We have a little bit of time with Geist, but we do need to get some stuff moving on our side of the battlefield. All right, so we run into Force of Will. I guess at this point, we have to get rid of 1 card. I actually do like Darksteel Citadel in this one. I guess we can get rid of Scalding Tarn, because hopefully we run into the land for next turn. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. Let's do that. So let's have Darksteel Citadel come down. Let's have Mox Opal come out. We still don't have Force of Will on one machine if we need to stop something kind of goofy from our opponent. So we'll have this Mox Opal into the battlefield. Let's have old Fblthp come down. That way we can cash in an extra card draw. Hopefully that's going to be an extra land for this Thran Dynamo. And that'll put us in a pretty good position to hopefully generate enough value to stop this Geist train from flying. There we go. Halimar Depths. Not the best, but we will take it. So anything else, pass it over to our opponent. But yeah, check out MTGOTraders. Also, let's give a quick shout out to ingaming.com. If you haven't treated yourself in a long time, make sure you head over to the website. Use coupon code JOLT to get 10% off anything off the order, off their website. And that coupon code will go back to help the channel out at the same time. So kind of works out both ways. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to contribute to the Patreon to help support cool content like this, there's a link down in the description below. If you can't do that, hey, no problem. Just tell somebody about the channel. So it's officially free time if you're keeping score at home. Let's have some fun. Now, as far as this Fblthp deck, it's been a very long time since we played it. The core of this deck is, it started off as Chaos Wand and Paradox Engine. Paradox Engine is banned in Commander. It's not banned in 1v1 Commander, which is what I'm playing. But I try to keep my videos pretty close to the regular Commander ban list, especially if it's super broken like Paradox Engine. There may be a few times to where, if I'm playing Golos Mazes In, I'm going to run Prime Time in my Golos Mazes In deck just because it helps me in 1v1. But for the most part, if it's something like Paradox Engine like that, I try my best to kind of keep my list very close to the paper list. That way, if you ever want to port it over, you can certainly do that. So there's no Paradox Engine in here. And so basically, it's kind of shifted into this kind of like mono blue artifact deck. Fblthp enters the battlefield. You could cash in a card draw. We have different ways that we can. Al-Hamaret's Archive allows us to, if we would draw an extra card, or if we would draw outside of our draw step, we get to draw an extra card. Then we have Panharmonicon. We have Conjurer's Closet. There's just a lot of different ways. Aerial Responder for a 2/3. Yeah, I think we're okay with that. I mean, It's just a Vigilance and Lifelink. I mean, we've got some time. Once we get down one with Machine, once we get down 3 and Dynamo, and we really get this mana going, I think we'll be in a pretty good position. All right, so we do hit into an untapped lane, which is going to be very nice for us. So let's go for Scavenger Grounds. Let's go 3 and Dynamo. It's going to be 1-2. We'll still end up going for a loot with Jace, but we can actually just go and wait until our opponent's turn if we wanted to. Well, just in case we hit an artifact, yeah, let's do that. So we're going to go for a Jace activation. We're going to draw a card, discard a card. If we need to, Cyclonic Rift, yeah, we're going to get rid of Halimar Depths. Because with Cyclonic Rift, that allows us to at least kind of set up a Force of Will on Geist, which would be very nice for us. So let's go and exile, or well, actually, yeah, because one with the machine's really going to refuel our hand. Yeah, I'd rather get rid of Halimar Depth. So there we go. Anything else, pass it back over to our opponent. But yeah, so once I got rid of the Paradox Engine and the Chaos Wand combo, not necessarily a combo, but you can generate a ton of value doing that. So I just kind of shifted it over into like a mono blue artifact deck, and it actually does work out sometimes. It's kind of one of those value train style builds to where once we get the value rolling downhill, it starts picking up more and more value. There's a lot of overlapping synergies. We've got Sai hanging around in here. We got planeswalkers like Tezzeret. So we have a lot of overlapping, strategies that end up making for a really fun board state. And then I just wanted to build a deck that really encompasses Fblthp's art. So you look at Fblthp and you see this huge war going on behind him. And so I just really enjoyed Fblthp being the commander, quote unquote, the general of this deck. And always watching. Yeah, that's fine because they're going to be able to get that down. And really like to go for this Cyclonic Rift because that's going to be 1, 2, 3, and we do have an active Mox Opal too. So actually, yes, I'm sorry, we could have gone for one with Machine. I totally forgot that Mox Opal was active. So a little bit of a misplay on my part, but hey, that happens sometimes when you're playing a live game while delivering commentary. So we've got Geist swinging in. That's going to put us down to 14, and they're going to exile the Angel token. So if we end up going Cyclonic Rift, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have just enough to kind of blank them out. If they swing in next turn, that's going to be 7 plus 3. That's going to be 10. That does put us down to 4. So if we wanted to try to go for a 1 with Machine, we certainly could. I think we've got enough to where we can, because we can always have Fblthp block on Guys. So yeah, let's give that a shot. So, and then I'll put us on Cyclonic Rift for next turn. So let's see what we rip into for the turn. More than likely, we're going to be end up going for 1 Machine. That way we can get a little bit extra card advantage. And then we'll be trying to jam this cycle. Ooh, with the Jace the Mind Sculptor. So Jace is good. The only downside is that Angel token is going to be really hard to defend against. So let's go for 1 with Machine. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to draw 4 cards off of this, which is a very good feeling. And if our opponent's been holding on to any counter magic, I would assume that they would... all right, there we go. All right, let's get the land drop down for the turn. That's going to be Urza, which we're going to be able to create that construct token. Yeah, I think that sounds pretty good. All right, so let's go Urza. That's going to be 1, 2... The good thing about this is it'll make it to where our opponent doesn't really want to swing in with Geist, because that's going to be 1, 4. We can block on Geist. That's going to be the construct token. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. So at least be a 3, 3. So at least we'll be able to make the trade with Geist. Excuse me, a 4, 4, because it does count itself as an artifact. And everything else we can try to deploy out for next turn. Oh, we still have a Jace activation. Let's go and draw a card and discard a card. And ooh, mana drain. At this point, we don't really have any specific artifacts that we're like searching up, but I think we still should go ahead and hold on to. This is just a beautiful. Look at this opening hand. Yeah, I think we get rid of Tezzeret the Seeker, because if we're going to be getting a Tezzeret down, it's Tezzeret Artifacts Master, because that's such a good thing for us. So anything else, let's go and pass the turn over to our opponent. And this also just kind of cutthroat mono blue sometimes, so it just doesn't really fit the bill with Fblthp at the helm, and I just really enjoy that, and it ends up working out sometimes, and it's just a really fun build. So opponent's going to have the Mana Crypt trigger. They've had that out there for a minute, so they've been getting pretty lucky on those Mana Crypt triggers, and then that's going to be Mana Vault. So like I mentioned earlier, we've got some good options. If they decide to swing in with Geist, we've got a 4/4 construct token. We're going to have Cyclonic Rift next turn, and that's going to allow us to kind of send everything back to their hand, kind of hit the reset button. And then now that we do have Force of Will and Mana Drain, that really does kind of keep us open as far as kind of trying to keep our opponent down at this point right now. And also with Urza enters the battlefield, we get a construct token, but tap an untap artifact you control, add blue mana to your mana pool. So I want to try my best to remember that. When you've got a deck that has a lot of interactions, it's a little difficult sometimes to to make sure that you've got it. But as far as any new additions to the deck, we did end up adding the Magic Mirror to the deck, which I really like that because it's a perfect blend of, we have high priority artifact like the Magic Mirror. At the same time, we're casting a lot of instant and sorceries. All right, so opponent's going to go for Odric. At the beginning of each combat, creatures you control gain first strike. Flying Vigil. Yeah, we can't let that go through. So we're going to go for a Force of Will on Odric. And I think we're actually going to exile Jace. Because Tezzeret actually works out better because the Brainstorm ability is nice. We don't have a shuffle effect, but that is zero builder. We're going to be able to draw 2 cards. So it's almost like we're getting 2/3 of a Brainstorm, just cashing it in. So, and then I'd rather hold on to Mana Drain and Cyclonic Rift. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that play. Force of Will, exiling Jace the Mind Sculptor. As an opponent, that's one of those things where, you have so much card advantage. Like, there's sometimes in Modern when you're playing against Jund or something like that, and let's say they have Dark Confidant going. Oh, do they have Counter Magic? Let's see. If they've got it, they've got it. We can still Rift for next turn and try to leave up Mana Drain, potentially, but let's see if they've got Counter Magic. All right, they're going to go for Negate. Okay, so that's going to be Odric coming down. I think, because that's going to be 3/6... in the air, plus an angel token for 5. That's going to be 11, so I think that leaves us at 2. And we did get the negate out of their hand, so let's see what we can do about this, because I think we still end up surviving. Yeah, because that's going to be 10. So we've got some stuff, and that still puts Jace on the ability to flashback Cyclonic Rift out of the graveyard, too. So that's going to put us down to 3. That's going to be 8 total commander damage. And we'll figure out what we're going to do with this Mana Drain. Okay, so let's see what we draw into for the turn. Yeah, hopefully we can squeeze this one out. And I'll talk about some of the new additions to the deck here in a second. So let's see what we draw into for the turn. It's going to be Paradoxical Outcome. Let's have Island come down. And I don't know if we really want to fight during our opponent's attack step. Because we can go, if we have Cyclonic Rift, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to give us 1, 2, 3. We're going to have 3 total mana left. And we can still leave up Mana Drain. So I think at this point, yeah, because they can just refuel their entire hand. So let's just go and pass the turn to our opponent. With Jace, the Mind Sculptor, that will end up flipping. So let's go and draw a card and then discard a card. That way we can set ourselves up for maybe potentially like double Cyclonic Rift out of the graveyard. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw a card and discard a card. If we need to, we can get rid of Paradoxical Outcome. This is not something that we need to go for super bad. We can use it as a way to kind of bounce Fblthp and Urza. And yeah, I think we'll actually end up getting rid of Mind Stone. So that's going to leave Jace flipped up. Let's go for the up to 1 target creature gets -2. We're going to click OK and then pass it back over to our opponent. So Paradoxical Outcome, that's actually going to work out really well. We can send Fblthp and Urza back to our hand. That's going to give us an extra construct token and give us some extra card advantage. And then we're going to try to jam this Cyclonic Rift because we should have backup mana for this Mana Drain. So let's let them get this Mana Crypt trigger on the stack. But yeah, we ended up adding the Magic Mirror to this stack, and I think that's kind of about it. Oh, Midnight Clock too, which is, yeah, Midnight Clock is in here, which if you haven't played with Midnight Clock in a mono blue deck or any sort of deck that's playing blue, it's a pretty good card. I mean, it's almost just kind of like a set it and forget it style effect, but it's a it's pretty good. There's a lot of times if the game goes long, next you know, you just get a fresh grip for free, and it doesn't let your opponent draw cards, which is always nice. So let's see if our opponent's going to swing in. But yeah, I highly recommend it. I've been playing with it a lot in Brawl. It's pretty fun. So let's go for this Cyclonic Rift. Let's let this Angel come down on the battlefield. Let's go Cyclonic Rift. Cast this with Overload. Let's go tap down as much colorless mana as possible. That way we can leave up Mana Drain. And then tap down a Mox Opal. There we go. All right, so we're going to have Cyclonic Rift go. We're going to send everything back to our opponent's hand. That still keeps us open on Mana Drain. We can go for Tezzeret. That allows us to go for Jace activation next turn. We're going to Mana Drain their Mana Drain. Hopefully they don't have it. If they've got another counter spell, they've got it. But this should feel pretty good. Yeah, because we saw Negate, we saw Mana Drain. I mean, crazier things have happened. There we go. All right, so this might stick. I'm going to keep our fingers crossed that it does. Hopefully it does. Okay, there we go. Send everything back to their hands. So that's going to put them on Azorius and then Plains. This is going to give us a little bit of extra time to kind of rebound. We can dump out a few extra artifacts for this construct token. We've got Jace. The only thing that we're going to be looking out for is we need to get some sort of counter magic for actually Geist and actually what's his name, Odric, because that Odric is such a hard thing to deal with in a deck like this. So that's going to be Reflector Mage coming down. Let's see what they're going to bounce back with that. And I actually do like them going for Reflector Mage because that allows us to, yeah, Construct Token, that's fine because we can always Paradoxal Outcome it back to our hand. And so they're going to cast Mana Vault and probably see Mana Crypt come down too. So, but yeah, with them going Reflector Mage, that, it's pretty good because that allows us, instead of going for Fblthp or Urza, we can actually grab both of those and then recast them. So, all right, so we do end up seeing Odric coming down. We run into Force of Negation, and we're going to be able to add 2 colorless mana to our mana pool. And I think we just hit the reset button again. Yeah, let's do that. So we go Cyclonic Rift. We're going to cast it with Overload. That's going to be 1/2. 1, 2, 3. It's going to send everything back to the hand. And then let's go ahead and swing in with Fibble. Actually, we have that extra mana. We can wait until next turn. We can actually end up going for Tezzeret if we wanted to cash in some extra card draw. That's going to be 2 card draw. I think that's going to be better than... Yeah, let's do that. Because with this card advantage, that's going to make a huge difference. All right, let's go for the 0 ability, draw a card. We're going to be able to cash in 2 card draw. That's going to be the land drop for the turn. Let's go ahead and push in with Tezzeret and Fblthp. Look at this, getting in for some damage. They're going to push in and then knock our opponent. We're on the board for 1 Fblthp commander damage. If you've got your score sheet at home, make sure you mark that 1 category. Most of the time, we don't get a very good Fblthp like that. All right, so they're going to come down with Mana Crypt. And yeah, it always feels good to get in at least 1 Fblthp commander damage. And that's going to be Geist coming down too. And then let's see what else. Now, worst case scenario, we can always end up making a Thopter with Tezzeret. And not the best thing. We can try to stop Geist. But at least with them going for Odric next turn, that's going to be... And then Force of Negation, yeah, that's fine. Because we do have a pretty good chunk of mana to where we can actually Paradoxal next turn. So, okay. So we've got some good stuff. We need to find an answer so bad for... Yeah, and it can also go for the -3 with Jace too on 1 with Machine. That allows us to catch in some really good card advantage. So let's see. And at this point, if we don't win, this is just one of those decks that if we can just stabilize and have guys chase Fblthp around on the battlefield, then I'm happy. All right, so let's go for the let's go. Yeah, I think we want to do this. Let's go for the 0 ability, 1 with Machine. Because we can just tap down Thran Dynamo and Island. 1, 2, 3. Let's go 1 with Machine. That's going to allow us to cash in 4 cards. And then Frantic Search and Aether Flux Reservoir. Now we can... That's going to allow us to cash in some life gain. Because we're going to see what's his name coming down. So let's do this. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4... So we're going to have Aether Flux Reservoir come down. The main thing is this is going to allow us to gain a little bit of life, which is going to be pretty nice. So let's have Misty come down. And that's going to allow us to tap down Aether Flux Reservoir for an extra mana. Yeah, I think that'll be good. So let's do this. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. We're going to go for Frantic Search. That's going to gain us... let's see how much life we're going to gain off of this. Yeah, it's going to put us at 6. That's going to be Frantic Search. And then Mystic Confluence. And then Impulse. Okay, so I think at this point what we'll do is we'll discard Paradoxal Outcome, and we'll get rid of... We already did make the land drop for the turn, so we'll get rid of Island. We're going to untap 3 lands, untap these 3 islands. Let's go ahead and crack Misty. Let's grab ourselves an extra island. And if we want to with Mystic Sanctuary, we definitely do have those. You can enter the battlefield tapped unless you control 3 of the other islands, which we do. You put an instant or sorcery on top of your library, which will end up being something like Force of Will. I think that'll be good. Yeah, let's do that. So we go Mystic Sanctuary. That's going to allow us to put a Force of Will on top of our library. We can go for Impulse. And with this Aether Flux Reservoir, this should give us a little bit of... Yes, definitely want to use that ability. We still have Tezzeret to go for. So let's go for the 0 ability. That's going to allow us to draw into Elixir. Okay, that's going to be good. So let's have Elixir come down because that basically replaces itself with Urza. That's going to be Aether Flux. And we might be able to get to an Aether. I doubt we can get to an Aether Flux win. Let's go ahead and tap Aether Flux, or Elixir of Immortality. That's going to be blue. Let's go for Preordain. We're going to gain 1 life for each. There we go. It's going to put us back up to 14. We're going to get a little bit of Scry and some Scurry. Fabricate. I don't think Fabricate really helps us out too much at this point right now. And then Ghostly Flicker. Let's go and put both of these on the bottom for right now. Then we draw to Phyrexian Metamorph, which we can pay a little bit extra life. We end up going for Arcane Signet. That's going to be an extra Aether Flux Reservoir trigger. It's going to put us up to 20. That's going to give us an extra Mana Rock. Let's tap down Aether Flux Reservoir. We're going to tap down Arcane Signet. We'll go for Impulse. And if we wanted to, we could actually Force of Will to get a little bit of extra action on our side. I think we should hold on to Force of Will on our opponent's side. So, yeah, let's do that. So we've gained a ton of life. Stoic Rebuttal, which we don't have the mana for right now. Padium would be a good option for us. I think at this point, we just do end up grabbing Stoic Rebuttal. And then everything else is going on the bottom in any order. And then that should be it for the turn. So anything else, let's go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So we got back up to 27. That's pretty good. We're able to dodge a lethal attack from our opponent. We do need to find some sort of way to find a win condition. That's one of the downsides of this deck, is there's not really a set win condition sometimes. So we're just buying some time with them swinging across with their creature over there. But this is what makes this deck fun, at least for me to pilot, is because like when we're playing Church of Athreos, the game plan is, hey, sacrifice some creatures, get some card draw going, and then find ourselves a living death to make Athreos happy. When we play this one, it's just kind of all hands on deck. And so, good thing is we do have Force of Will for, what's his name? Odric. We can Force of Will with the Stoic Rebuttal. Then we've got Force of Negation back up. So we've got some good options to really counter some stuff out of our opponent's hand. If we keep Urza on the battlefield, we're actually in a really good position to kind of stop, or at least kind of be able to tap these artifacts down, which really does help out. And the cool thing is, so they're going to go for Deep Fathom Skulker. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. Is that something we want to let happen? Because then that's going to be them just straight up just going for Odric, which is going to be a lot of action. We can always bounce it back with Stoic Rebuttal, I guess. Yeah, because I think card advantage is what we need to stop. So we're going to do this. We're going to go for Force of Will on Deep Fathom, and we're going to exile Phyrexian Metamorph. And the cool thing about this Aether Flux is we're slowly working towards that. And they're going to go for Disdainful Stroke, and that's going to cut them off Odric, which I think I'm kind of okay with. Let's go, I think I kind of like this. We're going to go Disdainful Stroke, and we're going to exile, I think at this point, we're going to go for Mystic Confluence. Yeah, we're going to hold on to Mystic Confluence. It's going to give us an extra Aether Flux Reservoir. And so, there we go. I'm kind of liking this stack, because if they make the land drop, then they're going to be able to get down to Odric. But at least at this point now, we can put ourselves in a position to where we can really set up a nice turn for us. So, all right, there we go. All right, we're back up to 30. This is going pretty good. The only downside is they can swing in with Aerial Responder at Tezzeret that allows them to knock it down. But as long as we keep that card advantage going, we're going to be in a pretty good spot. So let's see who they decide to go for with Reflector Mage. They're going to bounce Fblthp back. Oh, they got the respect for Fblthp. I like that. We can't cast Fblthp yet, but that still allows them to swing in with Geist. Now, what we can do with Geist swinging in, if they do decide to swing the Angel and Aerial Responder, okay, so they decide not to. Let's see if they're going to attack our life total, because I think Geist is at us and then Angel is at us. So they're going to leave Tezzeret on the battlefield, which we're perfectly fine with. So let's go Tezzeret block on Geist just to chew up a little bit of that damage. That's going to put us down to 26. And then, see what we rip into for next turn. We've still got the 0 ability to go for some card advantage. All right, so we run into an island. Let's go for 0, draw a card. That's going to be 2 of them. Ooh, Mystical Tutor. Okay. So what do we do this turn? So we can actually Mystical Tutor a card on top of our library, because let's get a mana count real quick. So let's make the land drop for the turn. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. That's going to be 9, 10. That's going to be 13, 14, 15, 16. and then 18 mana. So we've got some good stuff that we can do. We're looking at potentially Reflector Mage to return some creatures back to their hands, but that's not going to allow us to stop Geist. I still think we can set... While our opponent shields down, yeah, we need to get some stuff going. So let's go shields down on Mystical Tutor. It's going to allow us to gain extra life off Aetherflux Reservoir. What helps us out at this point right now? I think we just... Yeah, let's go for a Rise from the Tides. I kind of like that. So we're going to put Rise from the Tides on top of our library. Let's cast Mana Crypt. We're going to have Mana Crypt come down. Let's go for Mystic Confluence. And what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 card draw, and we're going to return Aerial Responder back to its hand. So let's go and cast this to send Aerial Responder back to the hand. That's going to be 1, 2, and then 3. And make sure we're tapping down for enough blue mana. There we go. All right, so we're going to be able to get an extra Aetherflux Reservoir. We're going to send those creatures back to the hand, 2 card draw. Oh, and then Cryptic Command. Okay, so we go Rise from the Tides, which is really going to stop our opponent, too. That's going to be Arcane Signet and Mox Opal. That's going to be an extra life gain for us. That puts us back up to 36. And look at all these zombies. Oh, yes. Okay. Anything else? I think what we might end up doing next turn is simply just going for a Cryptic Command at their attack step. Now, that does leave them open to be able to... recast Geist or counter our magic, but if we're going to jam a Cryptic Command, I kind of like doing it at the beginning of combat. So, there we go. All right, so our opponent's going to have the Mana Crypt trigger, Mana Vault trigger on the stack. We're going to have Cryptic Command next turn to allow us to tap down our opponent's creatures and at least go for a... on the back end, we're looking at some good zombies coming down next turn. And also, if I miss any sort of Aetherflux, like there's a couple different lines you can take with this deck, but, it's been about... to be perfectly honest, it's been about 2 months since I've played this deck, so a lot of the times when I play these older decks, I just kind of hop in there, and I'm like, oh, I've been here in a minute, and try my best to remember the lines of play in here, but with Rise from the Tides, this is one of those cards that I've had in here for so long, and I haven't been able to cast it. They're going to go for Disenchant. Yeah, I think this is a good option for us to fight over this. This will be good. So let's go ahead and counter target spell. Almost we could just draw a card. I think that's going to be better. Yeah, counter target spell, draw a card. That's going to be triple blue. That's going to allow us to gain an extra life. We can stop that disenchant. Huge shout out to our opponent for that disenchant. I love the art on that. It looks great. So that does rip us into Gilded Lotus. And like I said, they can swing in Reflector Mage, but as long as this kind of Aetherflux sticks around, we still also have the option of being able to go for Elixir of Immortality. This can be able to shuffle everything back into the library. The only thing is the Exile Zone. Yeah, we had a few different stuff get exiled, so we'll miss out on Cyclonic Rift, one with Machine. But at this point, all right, so always watching. And if this is what makes Fblthp fun, is you just end up with these clunky board states. So they're going to have 3... Let's see if our opponent's going to go on defense or not. We'll probably end up seeing Reflector Mage. No, they're going to start swinging in. All right. So they're going to be swinging... No, well, they have Vigilance stuff, so they might as well. And let's see if they're swinging at us or... No, they're realizing the power of Tezzeret. I totally get that. So they're going to be able to... They're basically going to be able to get Tezzeret. So we're going to let this swing happen. Totally get that. All right, that's going to be Tezzeret gone. Thanks for helping us out, Tezzeret. We can always shuffle it back in with Elixir of Immortality, and we might do that. So, is that what we want to do to shuffle everything back in? Because we haven't hit one of our big draw spells yet. We can always... Let's see what we rip into first, okay? So that's going to be Mana Crypt trigger. Let's go and choose Tails on this bad boy. Lost the flip. So I think we're 0 for 1 on that. And run into Brainstorm. Okay. And in fact, yeah, let's go and go for Brainstorm, I think. Yeah, because that's fine, because we go Brainstorm. That's going to allow us to dig 3 cards deeper. That's going to be an Aetherflux Reservoir trigger. That's going to put us back up to 35. We might be able to close it out. We'll see. We're going to try to cast a bunch of stuff with Aetherflux Reservoir. So let's go for this Brainstorm. Ooh, okay, kind of brick on that one. Let's put, at the beginning of your upkeep, we'll put Palladium back on top, and we'll put Island back on top. Let's go for the Elixir of Immortality. We're going to gain 5 life. That's going to put us back up to 40. Let's make the land drop for the turn. Let's have Gilded Lotus come down. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to allow us to gain an extra life. If we can get to that 50, we'll see. I don't know. I'm trying to keep track of how many spells we're casting this turn, but it's looking very okay. 42. That's going to be Gilded Lotus. Let's have Fblthp come down. That's going to be, and then we also still have Tezzeret to go for, so we need to keep that in mind. Let's go and cast Fblthp. That's going to be an extra spell for the turn and allow us to gain a card draw when it nears the battlefield. Hopefully we rip into something if we need to go for Tezzeret. Ooh, Tezzeret, he's back. He's angry. Tezzeret's mad. He said, you shouldn't have done that, partner. All right, so we're looking for a few cantrips now. If we can just rip into a few cantrips, that's going to put us at 49. If we just hit a spell, let's go for that 0 ability. Oh, then we run into Tezzeret? Untap it. Yeah, let's go Tezzeret. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got untap up to 2 artifacts. That's going to be Aetherflux Reservoir. Oh, look at this. Let's put this at 54. Let's go ahead and go for the 0 ability untap, Gilded Lotus, and Mana Crypt. Oh, actually, we should have gone for Thran Dynamo. And then, just to be safe, let's go Midnight Clock. I don't think there's any sort of damage spell our opponent can cast, but we just really want to make sure we get this Aetherflux Reservoir set up. So there we go. Go up to 60. Let's go ahead and target our opponent for 50. And if they've got Trick Bind or they've got... All right, there we go. Knock our opponent down to 23. You can see where this deck is... There's just a lot of stuff going on. It's just kind of a dirtle deck. But Grand Warlord Fblthp really showed us the way to close this game out. So, if you enjoyed the video and you enjoyed serving under Fblthp today, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.